gonna make a new app, .NET new.
You didn't refer to
I didn't. I should have.
I was like,
That was golden, right?
going back on
Monolithic
versus
microservice. Microservices.
Microservice. Thank you.
Monolithic applications versus microservices. Monolithic applications, can't even say it anymore, are a full stack application all in one bucket. It's your entire app all in one project. Versus a microservice based application, which is a lot of smaller projects working together.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This was .NET New got you this?
Yeah.
To see all the templates?
-L
Dash now. Yeah.
for list. So we are using SDG API. Today we're going to use SDG React. It's a new template. In order to install it, .NET new-I, that one, SDG templates web.react. And this will give you a React app inside of a .NET app. Is that the command that you're looking for?
Yeah.
That will install the template. That won't use it, but that will just install it. So you don't have to do this once.
So if you did it before that's what you had.
Yeah, because before we installed the API, this is the React one.
Oh, so this is different.
This is different, yeah.
What?
Is this going to be in homework?
It will. It will be. It'll be on level 2, yes. Dante, you have a question?
What makes it different?
We'll see it in a second. But this, an API project is pretty much just the API.
So that's like for anything, and this is like specialized for
Yeah, this is the API plus React. This is where
plus
they're,
React?
yes.
So it gives you, it just gives you all the files. at the
It gives
same
you a full
time.
stack app, yeah.
That's awesome.
I get it.
Yeah. Instead of having to do app in another directory and blah, 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 blah. It's all like, oh, no. Here you go.
That's really
So after I install it, I actually want to call it now.
It's switched to API then. Oh, you already did this one. Never mind.
SDG React. Now I'm going to call this, I need a name for this. Work it.
What?
The gym. I need to name my gym. Workout, gym, Suncoast Gym, Suncoast Developers
Just
Gym.
do it.
I think I heard that somewhere. I like that. Suncoast Developers Gym. Suncoast Developers Gym. Woot, woot.
Good.
So it created it. I'm going to head into it now. .NET Restore, like always. Bloop. It's going to do its thing.
I like the sound of
Which
it.
.NET Restore?
So now, let's hop into it and let's see what we got. So we got a lot of stuff that looks familiar, right? We have our startup CS, our program CS, our Docker files, our controllers, right? A lot of stuff that looks familiar, a lot of stuff that doesn't look familiar as well, right? A few things, not much.
Client
Oh,
apps,
Ben.
but like everything is.
Client app is the new thing, but if we expand client app,
Yeah.
that should look familiar.
Nice.
That's a React. That's where our React application lives. So now our React application lives inside of it. Yeah, right. CSS is gonna be fun, which we might get to on Thursday because I'm more functionality over form.
So does that get ignored? It's already set up for the whole thing?
Yep.
Cool.
So I'm going to ready for SDG Gym. All right, here we are. I'm going to update my database context. SDG Gym. No, that's not right. SD Gym. I don't want to be Suncoast Developers Gym. I don't want to be that guy. So now that we have that all set up, I'm going to bring over my use cases. slap those in my README. Bloop. Beautiful. All right. So we have our client app. Nothing's too different here. If I pop into app.js just to walk through this a little bit, you already have React Router installed. What? Right?
We've been doing this whole time.
It was like you've been learning how to do it. It's just not do it again. But it's okay.
Layout.
Yeah.
What? Crazy. So this introduces a concept called a layout component. So you know how if we wanted to put the same thing on every page, we'd have to put the same thing on every page? Abstract the nav bar out to the component and duplicate the nav bar. Well, now we can say, you know what? No, we have a layout for our site, but it's only added in one place. Stop knitting for that one, huh?
Yeah.
But couldn't you do that just by sticking those components outside of your routes before?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you
it,
could.
and if
you
you
could stack them in a nav bar in 4 different pages, and then try and get them to flex the way you want to on 4 different pages.
Well,
It's
what's-
just-
what's Phil
you
is
can stick
talking
your
about.
bar.
yeah, is that we can actually stick stuff just to have fun with it a wee bit. We can say, hey, we can do something like this,
Okay.
where this will act as our switch. Right here. And this achieves the exact same thing. So that we can put a nav menu on the same level as our switch, and now it'll appear on our switch.
Cool.
This just abstracts this out a little bit for us.
Can you reiterate that?
Yeah, so on here, see our switch? See our nav menu? Our nav menu is going to appear above everything that's on our page.
Right, exactly. That's our app.js page, that's our layout page, so
Yep.
anything that's on that goes on every page.
Yep. The only thing that's going to be swapping out now is the body. Because that's where the switch is. Yep. So yeah, so now let's run this and see what we got.
Do we need to migrate?
We don't, because we haven't run any data. We haven't done any database changes yet. We haven't added any models. We haven't changed any structure yet. So we won't.
Do we have to yarn start?
We don't.
Okay.
In this case, .NET Watch Run will actually run yarn start for us. And we see that as it's running. I'll show you. Over here in our startup CS, this is going to be a bit more expanded. Because not only are we telling it that, hey, this thing is an MVC app, we're also saying that, hey, you know what? This is also a SPA. This has a React app inside of it. And where is that SPA located? Client app/build. And we tell it whenever we start up
Run build.
to use the NPM script or the yarn script, start. So we're saying, hey, we're going to start up our server. Oh, NPM start.
Is there a name for this? Like a general name for this file? Is this like the config file or like I know it's the startup file, but
That's what it's
would this be like the executable that you click on when you
This
get
is
to
more.
go? Or
This is more closely related to a config file than an executable.
okay.
This is telling us how our server is going to run.
Okay.
It's the first file that reads, right?
Not technically the second, but yes. The first one that has any real meaning towards it. The first file just says, hey, go to the startup file and read it. Because the first file is, as with every C# program CS. So the first file it hits, it's like, hey, I'm going to create a web host, and I'm going to use startup. So it's technically the second. Alan?
Since it's running an npm script, if we install like libraries into our app, do we still use Yarn or do we use NPM?
We use, I don't know why. We use NPM now to install it, and we have to do it inside of the client app folder. So if I wanted to actually install the packages, CD client app, NPM install. So we need to treat our React app as its own application that lives inside of our .NET.
What dependencies
This
is
is
that
installing
installing?
what?
All the dependencies for our React app.
So
So
this
we'll
is,
have a package, sorry. So we'll have a package that these ones.
Yeah, look, we have a package
Good, now.
We check out the package JSON. It looks reasonably similar to what we have.
Okay, cool.
So when you ran npm install, it's saying, hey, install all this.
Yep. It's saying, hey, go do this stuff.
which is just like .NET Restore,
Yes.
but for React.
.NET. Watch run.
And you got back out of client now, back into
Yep.
the gym stuff.
And if we did Ruby on Rails or
That's
some
the
other,
project to install this.
if we were doing something else, it would be set up pretty much the same way, just different files and
It's
stuff.
pretty much the exact same thing. It's like, hey, we have our big overarching project is our backend language, and one folder inside of that is our front end stuff.
Cool.
You went into client now to do npm install, and then went back out of client app into some of those built to .NET Launcher.
So the project we did earlier, can we install both at the same time?
It should. I don't know why this didn't, but it should. But it's running now. And if I head over to localhost 5001, inside of my Chrome, wherever that is, localhost 5001, I'm going to get my good old-fashioned default .NET app now. It's going to be a React site that has Bootstrap already installed. We get a nav menu and a nav bar for free. And we're ready to go. It's using something called React Strap. React Strap, I know, it's really cool. React Strap is a React library, React wrapper around Bootstrap. So it exposes all of the Bootstrap functionalities, but as components.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's all it does.
So we should probably use it for portfolios.
If you find a template that's written in React Strap, you can convert your Bootstrap portfolio to a React Strap thing, but you have to convert it yourself.
Alright, so I'm sorry, just to be sure, so when we install this template,
Mhm.
it should do all of this for us. This
It
is
should,
just a
yeah.
one-off.
Yes.
How would you deploy this?
How would I deploy this?
Because like you said that Heroku does APIs and
Yes.
Netlify does your front end, so like is there any?
There's no
is
Netlify
this
here.
A full stack?
Full stack app, no Netlify. Because it's a full stack app, it has to be deployed to Heroku.
Okay, so Heroku does do front end.
Because it's buried inside the C#.
Exactly.
They can't see it.
Because it's Docker.
Exactly. Because we're wrapping our app inside of a Docker container and saying, hey, just use this Docker container.
Sneaky.
Right? It's amazing. I love it. Where are we? Level 45. Okay, cool. So yeah, so now that it's up and running and we're up ready to go, we have a lot of stuff here. The first thing we want to do is implement our wireframes, right? To some extent, at least to get them up, right? So it's going to be 2 pages, a home and a manage to start off with. They'll look something like that. We're going to have a couple forms, nothing too crazy. This would be a good flashback to React, right? Yeah, React. Love me some JavaScript. Relive.
So sorry. With the components, are those part of the template?
We got, they give us an example of how to do state,
Mhm.
because they're super nice. And also how to do a fetch or an Axios. While we're here, let's check out this fetch call. What's missing here? What's different?
It's not a URL.
It's a relative URL. So one benefit of a React app being inside of .NET app is it knows where your API is located because it's located back by itself. It's located back home.
So it's expecting you to give it to it.
It knows where it is. Instead of having to go off to a different server,
So you
it
don't have
has to go back home. Yeah. It's just like, hey, you don't go back to my server and go to route API/sample data/weather forecast to get it. I'm not going it someplace else. It's now a relative path, not a absolute path.
You left this one counter in your kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds really efficient.
Really fast.
It's really efficient and it's also easy for configuration. Because if you choose to have your app on Netlify and Heroku, you're going to do a little bit of extra configuration on your React side to say, hey, am I in my local dev environment? Should I go to localhost 5000? Or should I go to this Heroku app API for my data? So you're going to do a little bit of configuration logic wrapped around that, which is normal and fine, but it adds a bit more complexity. This just says, hey, you don't just always go back home, no matter where my home is. Is my home at localhost, or is my home at sdgym-herokuapp.com? It's always going to know where its data is. So that's one benefit of putting them both together is that they know more about each other. Cool. Here we are. So now I'm going to create a folder called Pages. Inside of that, I'm going to have a home page.
No, we aren't using hooks.
We're not using hooks. We can, but we're not. We will, but the template does not have it.
Right.
That's one thing that Microsoft is actually notoriously bad at. Because this template, excuse me, I burped. This template is based off of the React template for .NET. They don't have the latest and greatest stuff in there yet, but hooks are definitely in here. So yeah. So like this is based off of practices that were awesome circa 2017, which doesn't seem like that long ago, but if you recall, we're in 2019, and 2 years in the tech world is a very long time in the real world. So yeah, so here we are, home.js. Whee! So I'm actually going to use a class here.
Can we use JSX? Or is that not? Oh.
We should be able to. Home. Now on my home page, I want to have, well, it's going to be a list, so a form with no action. With an input, type search. And a button to for it to actually search. And we're going to replace these to make these a bit more styled up as we go. And then we're also going to have a list, UL, that has a list of people, right? People, or members now. Inside of each one, we're going to have a label for who they are, Jane, as well as a button to check in. So now over here on my layout page, not my layout, my app.js, I want to clear out the 3 defaults. Now I want to import home from ./pages/home.jsx. Anything crazy here? We're saying, hey, we created a home page. Our home page is going to be what I just made. It's going to be how we can check people in. Ta-da. Right. The last thing that we probably want to dig out of our template is the navbar menu, right? We no longer have a fetch or a weather or a count or anything like that. So let's dig that out. If we head to our nav menu, you'll see here, and this is really our first look at Reextract. So we've all seen Bootstrap before. We know roughly what it is. You know, it's a thing that has built-in classes for us. Things like a nav bar or a container or a nav item or a nav link. As we saw in the talk, we talked about Gulp the other day, those are typically classes, right? But now they're items, they're components that we can use inside of our project. As you see, here's our nav bar with a whole bunch of classes on it. Here's our container, here's our title. We can change that real fast. As Suncoast Developers Gym. And we can change that. And then look, here's our links. They're all a nav item with a nav link. So I'm going to get rid of those because we don't need them anymore. So now our web page is ready to go. Of course, we're going to do mobile first because we're cool like that. Here we are. So with this, our next steps would be, well, probably make the manage page, right? So we're going to make the second page now. It's going to look a lot like this page, but it's going to be slightly different, right? It's going to have a form at the top that says, hey, I'm adding a new person here today. Someone signed up for my gym. I want to add them to my list. So we're going to create a new page, new file, manage members.jsx, RCC, manage members. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Because I know how fun it is to watch people type HTML. But our form is no longer search. We're now going to be adding a member. So what part of a member do we care about? What information about a member do we care about? Name. So input, we'll do type text, placeholder, first name, last name, what else? Phone number, date of birth, date of birth.
We're gonna track their fitness for 'em.
So like what?
Like we could make another table for their weight and the date that they weighed in and
We can add that
how
later.
much weight they're lifting or whatever.
Whenever we get to doing the trainer stuff, we can
That's a
Yeah.
future feature,
Yeah,
right?
that's a version 2.
That's not MVP.
Right. First name twice. Because we really care about that last name. Date joined, someone said date joined. That can be auto set by our API for us. Just saying whenever we create it, just new it up. What else do we cover the member? Is that really it? Maybe emergency contact?
Or don't they have an identification number that we give them, like a GIN number? Or is that just, we just use the primary key for that?
We'll be giving them that. Whatever it is. Probably a
So,
primary
yes,
key.
it's not gonna be in there.
Yeah. Placeholder, emergency, I spelled that wrong. Contact name, already passed it. Still quarterly. It's a good start, right? Whenever you sign up for a new gym, that's pretty much all they care about, right?
Right.
You know, we're not going to worry about payment right now.
Also
Kick,
not to be like,
kick that to the curb, you know. It's not hard, but it's out of the scope of this project.
Right.
Because really, a good developer will not handle the payments themselves. They'll integrate with like PayPal or Stripe or something else to do all the magic for them. Because I don't want to deal with credit card numbers. That's not a burden that I want. Personal preference. So there's our form. Let's hook this up inside of our app now. Manage. I'm going to be manage members. And then add a link to it. Nav menu. Manage members /manage. There's my home page. I can go to /manage members now. Wireframes implemented. Check. Right? It ain't the prettiest, but it's functional. Ow.
is those bootstrap classes, is there actual CSS for them in the file, or is it just calling the name?
There's actually CSS for that inside
So
the
we
file
can
as
like
well.
check it out and see what they're doing?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Liv?
That's what's giving us the hamburger menu.
Yeah, that's part of Bootstrap. If we make it big, no longer hamburger. But if we make it small, hamburger.
Well, they make that easy.
Yeah, right?
I feel like I could use that. Yeah.
Probably a lot of people could.
Is this something we can use in our project?
Yeah, oh yeah, feel free. That's actually a good next step now that you kind of have a React idea kind of made, and you're starting your API now, is to new up a new SDG React app and start migrating your React app into it. Yeah, that may or may not be this weekend's homework assignment. Optional homework assignment. Recommended homework assignment. While we're on that topic, it's about that time again, right? Let's talk about today's homework assignment. So, as promised, bless you.